Okay, so we'll be taking the anthem, the declaration, sorry, the CLA Leadership Declaration. Let's go. I am a servant, transformational leader, empowered by God's grace. I serve with integrity, humility, and love. I inspire others with a heart of selflessness. I strive for excellence in all I do. I shine for Jesus in every aspect of my life. I am God's servant, transformational leader, doing the impossible. Amen. How come nobody joined me? So, yeah, we're still waiting for our facilitator, and I believe he will be here soon. So we'll have the facilitator's profile put up. Welcome, sir, Dr. Kofi. It's so good to see you. I'll be reading his profile now. Thank you. Dr. Kofi Osei-Kusi is an award-winning senior leader, a philanthropist, entrepreneur, published author, keynote speaker, and TV personality. He has over 25 years diverse professional experience spanning corporate environments, educational institutions, and non-profits. He serves as president and co-founder of the Pan-African Leadership Institute Ghana, an executive education institute with students and alumni in over 42 countries, dedicated to humanitarian work and unleashing leadership potentials. He is the executive president of the Osei-Kusi Foundation and serves as an associate minister of Trinity Baptist Church, Ghana. He is the host and presenter of the inspirational TV show Wisdom for Transformation, which is aired across Ghana. Not a stranger at all to JJRSF. Many of us have taken courses at Pali, and I'm one of those Pali students here. And we've truly been changed and transformed. It's so good to have Dr. Kofi with us. And I know that it's going to be an amazing class. Welcome, sir. Good to have you.
Thank you very much.
Welcome, sir.
Yeah, I feel very much at home. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And very big. I mixed up the time. I got into this meeting with the US, and then I just mixed up all the time. Sometimes converting the time, you add one or you deduct one. But I'm happy to be here. I'm gonna tell you a quick story. I remember one day I was supposed to deliver a lecture at a conference. This conference, I think, is in Zambia, and the conference was at 2 a.m. in the middle of the night. And for some reason, I had missed it. They didn't send me a reminder, and I was asleep. And then 1 a.m., I got a nudge to wake up and pray. And I don't normally wake up at 1 a.m. to pray, so I was praying at 1 a.m. I prayed very seriously, and then at 1:45, I remembered I had a lecture out of the blue. So like God had just made a way for me. But thank you, and a very big good morning to you, wonderful leaders. It's my honor to join you. May I please share my slides? Oh, sorry. Let me do it again. And whilst I do that, I want to first thank God for today, the gift of life. I want to thank the CEO of JJRSF, Dr. McAfee, and co-founder, the Air Vice Marshal. I'm sorry, you can see me. Am I good?
You can't see the slides yet, sir, but it was showing earlier
it.
on.
Yes,
Okay.
sure. Sorry. Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, I can see them now.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. Let me go straight ahead. Thank you. So yes, I want to thank the CEO, co-founder, the dean who has really helped to manage everything for us. I feel very much part of the Christian Leadership Academy, and I thank all the leaders here. Thank you. May I please carry on? I thank you for being here. You value knowledge, skills, leadership, and that's why you're here. And I want to ask if we can be a bit interactive during this conversation. And we're all here to learn. I don't know more than you. We're all here to learn from each other, unlearn and grow together. And I want to thank you for your willingness to serve in the different capacities where you serve as leaders, and for coming through this critically important course over the last several months. So we've been asked to have a conversation around successful leadership. Successful leadership, LMC 03, successful leadership. That's a big topic. And I see in this topic three key terms. One is success. The other one is leadership, of course, success and leadership. There's a third word which is here. It's not written there, but it's there because we are talking in a Christian context. And so the third is Christian. So it's almost like saying successful Christian leadership. But since we're Christians in this topic, I believe is assumed. So the three key things that we don't want to miss here are success, leadership, and Christian. And I'm going to speak from my slides, but I will also speak from my notes. So the slides are a guide, and then I will speak a bit from my notes as well. For a few seconds, please, could you kindly type in the chat room what your expectations are from this session? Could you type in the chat room, what do you expect? We're looking at successful leadership. That's a big one, successful leadership. What do you think, and what are your expectations from this topic? Do you want to type a few things in the chat room for me, please? Also happy to have maybe one person or two people just speak in a microphone and share what you expect from our time together. Practical tips to apply to improve your leadership skills. What it means, yes, what it means. The blueprint for success. I like that. I like that. And then I hope to get practical information that will help me develop my KPIs for your personal leadership. This is very personal. I like that. You want to close the knowledge gap in being a successful leader. Absolutely. Expecting to get a different and even better perspective to leading successfully. I don't know if I'm renowned. I'm a local leader. Thank you. All right. Beautiful. I like this. I think we're on the same page. I think we're very much on the same page. So thanks for sharing. All right. So our itinerary, the journey we're going to be going around the world in the next 45 minutes is what is leadership? It's important that we don't assume what we're talking about. So let's be concrete about what leadership is all about. And then we should also define what success is. And then after that, we want to look at the 7 essential elements of successful leadership, 7 essential elements for successful leadership. And then I'll speak from my notes around catalysts and insurance for successful leadership. And so I'm here to offer you some sort of insurance policy. And so if you're, we're all here to be successful leaders. And so I'm here to offer some insurance policies and catalysts, things that will catalyze our successful leadership and also ensure our successful leadership, because insurance is wisdom, and wise people do insurance because insurance can protect your vehicle, protect your house. And if we want to protect our vehicles and our houses, then we even more want to protect our successful leadership. So we'll look at the insurance policies that will help us get there. May I please start with some interactive conversation around this quote? What do you think about this quote? What are your thoughts around this quote? Leadership is knowing what to do when you don't know what to do. Take a moment and think about it. This quote, if I may, I mean, this is a sort of a crazy quotation. Leadership is knowing what to do when you don't know what to do. Do you agree? You don't have to agree with it, but do you agree? And what do you think it means? And I'd appreciate, someone jumping on the microphone. And then, of course, let's use the chat room to share some thoughts on this. What do you think about this?
If I may,
Yes,
first of
please.
all,
Okay, so for me, I'll say as a leader, you face challenges and circumstances that you have to find solutions at the spot. So leadership, knowing what to do when you don't know what to do, is like you have to just be hands-on at all times and be capable. I don't know if I'm explaining it well, but you face things that you may not immediately know what to do about. But as a leader, having people under you and a team, you have to be ready to take charge at all times.
I like that. You didn't start by saying whether you agree or not.
I agree, sir.
You sure? Okay, so leadership is all about knowing what to do when you don't know what to do. How do you know what to do when you don't know what to do? All right, thank you. Who's going next, please?
Okay, let me go next.
Go ahead, yes.
I agree with the statement, but I think what it implies is being ahead of the pack. When you don't know what to do, not team issue, but as a leader in that situation, like I said, I agree with it because you cannot not know what to do along with your team that don't know what to do. So that's the way I see it.
Please emphasize your last but one point again. I'm just noting that down very quickly.
Sorry, sir? I didn't hear you.
I missed the last part of what you said.
Okay, I said I agree. As weird as the statement looks, I agree. When you don't know what to do, it's not just the leader, it is the leader and the entire team who are at a crossroads. You cannot not know what to do. So, of what do we do now? Somehow be ahead of the pack. Find that narrow, tiny dot of forward movement, even in. So for me, it all boils down to always being ahead of the pack.
I couldn't agree more with you. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, I think leadership is following the leader and doing what he does to the benefit of those who you are following, to the benefit of those following you. Looking unto Jesus, the author and the finisher of our faith. Doing what he does, and then others following behind you are seeing what you do, and they are following the Jesus that is following the Jesus, so to say. That is leadership. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you, sir. That. Let's take one more.
Yes, sir.
Let's take one more.
No, sir.
Okay, sir. Can you hear me,
Yes.
sir?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I agree with the statement. I'll also add that leadership is the ability to face difficult situations that you may not have answers to, but forge ahead and find solutions to the problems.
I like that. I absolutely like that.
I
Thank
think
you,
someone
Lauren.
else was also trying to speak, if you allow him.
Okay, please go
Yeah,
ahead.
good morning, sir. Yeah, good
Yes,
morning,
sir.
sir. Yeah,
What
so
I
I
missed,
think,
what I missed was having you maybe just mention your name and one thing about you, but carry on because we have slides to go. Please carry on.
all right, my name is Elo Tiede. I'm based in Port Harcourt. I'm an IT consultant.
Awesome.
And yeah, so leadership, for me, this quote speaks more to learning, right? So you may not always know what to do, but you can always learn what you need to do and find solutions to problems that come your way. So I think this speaks more to learning what to do. So leadership is knowing what to do when you don't know what to do. So yes, you may not always know what to do at every point in time, but you can learn what you need to do and forge ahead.
I like that. I like what you've all said. I think this quote is really powerful and something we should all write down and remind ourselves. I agree with it myself. It highlights nearly everything we need to think about in terms of leadership. First of all, it highlights humility. Humility in the sense that you and I, as leaders, should realize that there are many times where we will hit situations where we don't know what to do. You are never going to be able to know what to do. Nobody knew COVID was coming. Nobody knew. There are things that even God would hide from all of us. And God hid things from some of the biggest prophets. Even as Christian leaders, there are situations we wake up mornings and have our key member of staff resign. What are you going to do when you don't know what to do? When you hit a situation where, you know, your major financier is no longer there, what are you going to do when you don't know what to do? So the first thing is it highlights humility, that, you know what, we're not God, and we're not going to know what to do a number of times. It talks about vision, to be able to look ahead and realize that there are a lot of things you don't know about the future. And so leaders must think long term and plan long term. It talks about long term thinking. It talks about education and learning, like Mr. Elo said, and building capacity for the unknown, building and developing capacity for the unknown. It talks about emotional intelligence, because you as a leader will be hit and shocked one day. And if you haven't developed emotional intelligence, you're going to misbehave. You're going to mistalk. You're going to say things that the media will capture, and it will, you know, it can mess up everything you have built over a long time. You don't know whatever could happen one day. And so we need to build emotional intelligence, because we are caught when, as a leader, you know, what if you're making your biggest speech, you know, you're being celebrated, and then somebody gets up, excuse me to say, raise their hand and say, you're a very stupid leader in the midst of everybody. You don't know what you should do. And yet, if you have built emotional intelligence, then you're going to be able to handle that. It talks about courage for us as leaders. It takes courage to be able to walk through situations when you don't know what to do. It talks about building mentors, finding the right mentors, and building the right team that we can fall on in case of emergency. So should the worst happen tomorrow, what is your backup plan? What is your plan B? You know, I've written a few books, and I do have a book that is not yet out. And in that book, it's a book about Christmas. I wrote a book about Christmas, wisdom nuggets from the Christmas story. And for me, as you know, especially as Christian leaders, and this place is easy for me because we are all Christian leaders. I do engage in a lot of spaces where everyone is in a Christian and we serve all of them. But in this space, it's easy. For me, Christmas, as you know, Christmas is God's plan B. Christmas was never God's original agenda. It was never God's original agenda to send Jesus, you know, into the world to come and die for us. It wasn't the initial agenda. The initial agenda was the Garden of Eden. There was no sin. Everything moves on perfectly. Man populates the world of peace and love, living with nature and everything. But before the foundation of the world, God made Christmas. He made his son, really die. All happened before the foundations of the world. For any key theologian here, you know that already. In other words, God had the plan for Christmas. He had a plan for Christ coming and for his death long before. Christmas was God's plan B. He had the plan just in case man sinned and everything went off, then he would kick in his plan B. And as you know, even the Christmas story didn't happen from day one. It took a long time. Right from Genesis chapter 3, God starts talking about the seed of the woman. And he keeps talking about the seed of the woman all through the prophets. And it takes God a long time to actually execute Christmas and to actually bring his child into being. All right. Can I get some comments? What do you think? What do you think about what I've said? Maybe you don't agree. Maybe you agree. Can I get some comments on that? I want to be interactive.
Well, Doctor.
Yes, sir.
Well, what I see is this. God always has a backup plan.
Thank you.
And nothing takes God by surprise. And if you look at the story of the Exodus, he said, even though God had planned them to go into Egypt before they were born, 400 years or 440 something years before they were born, he already had a plan of redemption 4 generations or almost 5 after. So God is not short of what to do. Not just a redemption story, but coming into our lives. God always knows the end from the beginning and has a plan for the end. The way he had the original plan was Garden of Eden, lush garden with everything, a place of fellowship and a place of power. But he has a plan. Man too has a plan, but man's plan is dung, is nothing. So I agree that God always knows what to do, when to do, and at the time. So nothing can take him by surprise.
Thank you.
For example, now, Doctor, he knows what you need before Jesus comes, and he already has everything laid out. So it may take you by surprise, but to God, it is a replay match. To you, it's a match going on, but to God, it's a replay.
That's right.
Thank you, sir.
That's right. Thank you so much for sharing, Minister Tim. That's really powerful. And so I want us to just not take it away from God, but bring it down to our level. And that is what this quote is talking about. My question to you as a leader is, do you have a plan for the next 100 years? Do you have a plan for the next 50 years? Remember, the Chinese and the Japanese, they have a 100-year plan. But what are the children of the kingdom doing? Do you have a plan for your ministry for the next 50 years, the next 100 years? We have said God has thought ahead so that he doesn't hit the point where he doesn't know what to do. How can we apply that in our own context? And so we're talking about 3 things: leadership, success, and then Christian. Okay, so let's do leadership. What is leadership? Because of time, can I get just one person sharing what you have captured on leadership? Because you're on a Christian leadership course. Can I get one person capture that? What is the essence of leadership that you have caught so far? Can you put that here for me so that we can carry on? In 30 seconds. Hello? Or maybe I should just run.
Do you want us to speak, or we should chat?
Yes,
Right?
yes, please. Maybe one person can speak. Yes, please.
Okay. I'll say leadership is influence, and is also about being the change wherever you find yourself. Besides making changes, you should be the change wherever you find yourself.
I absolutely like that. I absolutely like that, Dean. Thank you. It's important that we're on the same page. Thank you. All right. So, yes, leadership is the most powerful force on the face of the earth. Leadership unleashes the fullness of one's potential. It's critical. So potential is like a pipe. Potential is like a pipe. Looking for a pipe. Potential is like a pipe, and leadership is the container of that pipe. If the pipe is big, then the water that is flowing through the pipe is going to be a lot. If the pipe is small, whatever is flowing through it is going to be very small. Leadership is like the pipe that allows the potentials of people to flow out. And so you as a leader in class today, there's so much potential in you, but the size of your leadership is what determines how much of it is going to come out of you. So leadership unleashes the fullness of our potentials. God made men and women as leaders, and he demands leadership from us. Every society, every community, every group is crying for effective leadership. Great leadership is the security of the next generation. All right, let's carry on. All right, so there are over 600 definitions of leadership. And for me, this is the most comprehensive definition of leadership that I have seen. Leadership is the capacity to influence others through inspiration, motivated by passion, generated by vision, produced by a conviction, and ignited by a purpose. If we were together, I was going to ask all of us to shout it together, because this definition of leadership, it's something we have to make it into a song. We have to create a song around it. This is the most comprehensive definition of leadership. It captures the 7 critical components of effective leadership. First of all, leadership is capacity, and it's the capacity to influence others. It's not just influence. Leadership is capacity to influence, because your ability to influence depends on your level of capacity. So it's the capacity to influence others through inspiration, motivated by passion, generated by vision, produced by conviction, and ignited by purpose. And I will take my time and go through those ones as we go along. And so as we've looked at leadership, because of time, let's look at success. What is success? Anyone help us with success, please? Please, microphone. Hello, my family.
Success.
Please tell me your name, sir, and then
success. Timothy Achinogo, Minister Timothy Achinogo.
Yes, sir.
And success is following after the successful leader and working for and believing in those he's leading to be as successful, if not more successful than him. Because Jesus said, greater works shall you do. If we are doing greater works, then those behind us will also do greater than us. That is success.
I like that, following the successful leader and doing greater works. Thank you. Anyone else, please?
Yes, sir.
Right.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, sir. Please.
My name is Barrister Selby Yangi.
Of course.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, Barrister. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. I'll define success as achieving a desired or set goal. When you achieve your desired or set goal, then you are successful.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing, Barrister. Yes.
Good morning, sir.
Yes. Yes, sir.
I'm Mr. B. Ajula. I can say success in this context of leadership is producing your kind.
Wow. That is thought-provoking. Thank you. Thank you for sharing all of that. So success, what does it mean? Who defines what success is? How is it measured? And what are some of the biblical perspectives of success? Success, like you shared and Barrister shared, success is generally the progressive achievement of goals. So success is not just the achievement of goals, but it is the progressive achievement of goals. In other words, when I was a child, success meant passing my O levels. When I got to university, success was graduating with a great class. When I started a project, success was completing it. And so success is progressive, is the progressive achievement of goals. Of course, for a Christian, is the progressive achievement of God-ordained goals. Okay, so I believe there are three, in my view, there are three S's of how we define success. Okay, so there are three S's that I created. This is not from a book, I created myself. I think there are three ways that we can look at success, or how we define our success. And so we can define success by the three S's. First is God, the supreme being. It's either the first S, which is God is determining your success, self. You are determining your success, or the environment around you, the people around you, your team, your family, society. And so success comes from one of these, or a combination of these three. Are there any others? Do you agree or do you not agree? And depending on what you think, what is your order of success? What is your order of success? Now, we're going to do this in the chat room. What is your order of success? First of all, do you agree or do you not agree? The success for me comes from these three areas. There could be others. I'm happy to learn from you. It's either that you are defining your success by God, your God-ordained goal, what God expects you to do, or you have set your goals and you're trying to achieve them, and success is based on what you have set for yourself, or success is based on your society, what your family expects from you. Your family expects you to have a house in Lagos, have a house in Abuja, and have a house in your village. Or what friends expect of you. So do you agree? And then what is your order of success? It doesn't have to be one, two, three. What does 1, 2, 3 mean? If you put 1, 2, 3, you're going to have to explain it. So what does success mean to you, and why? And how do you list up your success? Which one comes first? Because there are people who success is entirely number one, is God. It's God, God, God. It's not about me. It's not about society. It's what God says I should do, that I should do. There are others whose success is all about self. There are others whose success is about what is expected of me. Of course, most of the world, this is it. This is how the world wants you to look like. If everybody is dressing in a way which is successful, that's how we dress. All right, so let me hear from you now. God, self, society. Who's going to explain it for us? Barrister, we understand the God part. Can you explain the self and society? And say, please, you also do 1, 2, 3. And Miss Edith, can you explain it for us very quickly so that we know? We understand God part. So yeah, explain the self.
Okay, sir. This is Barrister Seumbo.
Yes.
For me, success will be when I set goals for myself, personal goals, spiritual goals, or financial goals, just any goals for myself, and I am able to progressively work towards them and achieve them, irrespective of whether or not other people think or feel that I'm making success. I measure my success by where I see myself going to, not necessarily where others think I should be or should be going. That's for self. Then society. There are some people there are some times where you find yourself in positions of leadership that the success, the measures or the indices or the metrics for success are not determined by you. If you're in an organization, the indices for success will not be necessarily determined by you. So in that instance, you have to measure your success by the set down indices or metrics for success. Thank you, sir. So that's my explanation.
I love that. Can you comment on why you put it in that order? Is there a special reason why surrounding and society does not come before self, or is it interchangeable?
Well, for me, I see it as you have to lead yourself first. You first of all lead yourself. So if you're able to lead yourself, when you go out into the world, you'll be able to lead others. If you can't conquer yourself or you cannot lead yourself, you'll not be able to lead others. So God first, then yourself, you lead yourself. You measure success by your own indices, and then when you find yourself in those positions, you're able to lead others. But if you allow others define yourself, so if your priority is God first, which is should be our priority, then society before you, before yourself, and you may find out that sometimes the expectations of society may conflict with your expectations, and if you're not grounded in what you think is success, then you may find yourself faltering and sometimes even falling flat on your face.
I really love that. Can we get one more view on this? Can we get one more view on this? And is there...
Okay, sir.
Yes, please go ahead.
All right, sir. This is Sheyi Kolawole.
Yeah.
So primarily, ultimately for me, success comes from God. He tells me, or he has already, predestined us for a certain, call or vision to be accomplished. Now we already have that settled. Now, for my sake, now myself, I need to be able to now break down those dreams that he has given to me to fit into time and space. Like, for instance, I want to have this done in this time. I want to have that done in this time. And apart from that, I'm a pastor, for instance. I have a personal goal for how I want my family to think of me. I have a personal goal for how I want my children to be. So those are personal goals. That's why I chose 1, 2, and 3. 2 is self. So I have chosen for myself some personal goals, maybe due to experiences and all that, don't want to repeat certain, mistakes, want to have a certain kind of result in leadership, so that's a set goal for me as a person. Now, I also have responsibilities for people. That's where, the third point comes in: environment. I have a country that I'm living in. I have siblings that I have to look out for. So they also have. I heard someone once say that you have to have reasons for success. You have to give yourself reasons to be successful. So you need to have reasons why you have to be able to accomplish this. And many times it comes from external. I don't want to say forces, but it comes from external. People, surroundings. Friends and families. So that's why I chose 1, 2, and 3.
I like that. I love that. I love this conversation, and I'm just watching my time. Just one more person. Can we touch a little bit on the third one? To what extent should external parties, the environment, the surrounding society, people around, to what extent should people around us influence our success? Isn't just our focus on God and God speaking to us. Remember that success is about goals. It means there cannot be a successful football match without the goalpost. We need the goalpost to tell us who is winning. In other words, success requires goals. And so it requires God's goals for us, goals for ourselves. And do society set standards and goals for us? And to what extent should the society part impact on our success? Let's be real. That is where the challenge is, isn't it? That's where the pressure is. How do you feel when you're doing something that everybody else around you think, is a failure? What do you think? Can we get one more person speak on that and then we move on? Or even share your personal story, example of how you started something and everybody else thought, it wasn't going to work. Can we get someone share one thing? Let me pull something. Maybe I can share that with you. Once you come up, I'll share this with you. So would you believe this is my first book? This is the first book I ever wrote. When I was sharing, one sec, I'm just reading the message. Okay. When I started to write a book, this was the first. I wrote a little, I don't know what you called it. I couldn't call it a book. and I didn't want to call it a tract because I'm inviting people to a tract. It would sound funny. So I researched and called it a brochure because a brochure does not have a minimum number of pages. So yeah. And I decided I was going to launch this as my first book. This is 13 years ago. I invited my former High Commissioner, the High Commissioner of Australia. I invited friends. I had like 33 people coming. But before the event, obviously, people around me, my surrounding, told me that was failure. Because why are you saying you're writing a book when you don't even have what it takes to write a book? It's just a little tract that you're putting out there. And I decided, look, I'm not going to be discouraged. But 1 week before, I had written 3 of these. So I put these little 3 together into a small, tiny little book. Let me see. I can pull it for you right now. So that's my story. I'm not ending the story, but I want to hear from one person. What do you think, very quickly? Anyone has a story? To what extent should society and the surrounding impact on our success? To what extent should we listen to society around us on our success?
Hello, can I speak, please?
I love your voice. Please go ahead. Thank you.
Okay, my name is Dr. Nyam. I'm a medical doctor.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I agree with the flow from God, self, and then the society, just like the example you gave. So I believe that once you have that sorted, I mean, what God wants you to do is to influence virtually everything that you're going to do. And then He talks to you personally. In as far as we live in a system, we're not isolated from society, but it depends on how much you've received from what God intends you to do. So I'll give a quick example. In my training, while I was in my 4th year, there was going to be what we call now genomic revolution in the world in medical field.
Okay.
And then a lot of people were going to do residency to become consultants, but I had this personal conviction that that is the order of the day. And everybody was looking as though that's a foolish decision to make, to quit not doing the consultancy path and then go to research. But today, it's genomic revolution that everyone is talking about, because the consult path will give you money quickly, and then you get fame and recognition in the society. But now the whole world is talking about the genomic revolution, and that's where most of the medical field is talking about. So I got that inspiration. I was fully convinced that that's the way to go, although a lot of people from family, from society were saying that's the wrong path to choose. But it depends on how much convinced you are based on, of course, the number one, if God tells you that this is the direction to go. So I believe that that's part.
Incredible. I think that's such a powerful way of affirming all of that and sharing your story. Thank you so much, Doc. Yes. So to conclude my story, yes, I did have the courage because I felt like that was God's goal for me. Against society, against all the laughter and all the shame, I ended up having a lunch with 33 people. But within that room, at the end of the day, one person after that small, if you like, funny event came to me and said, I am from this organization and I want to order 12,000 copies of it. They paid upfront. And within 1 year, I had written like 12 books, including publishing, by the grace of God, a Holy Bible. I'll pull it up here. If I'll pull it up. And so, you know, I think the point we're making is society does matter, but society's goals for us matters as long as they align with God, number one, and then they align with what we feel we are led in terms of the goals that we want to go. But society's own should always be number 3. And if it conflicts with these, we throw it off. All right, let's carry on. So success has a lot to do with goals. And success, in other words, success comes out of goals. Goals comes out of plans, and plans come out of purpose. And so it starts with purpose, and then out of your purpose, you develop a plan or a strategy to determine your purpose. And out of the plans, you set goals. And out of the goals, now you can measure success progressively. Now, when it comes to goals, goals which leads to success must be holistic. Spiritual goals, health goals, financial goals, family goals, educational goals, maybe how many books you want to read, how much knowledge you want to grow in, societal goals, your influence in society, your legacy goals. And of course, we all know it already, goals must be smart, specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, time-bound. These are critical if we're going to be able to say we're successful or not. At Pali, we always say that if you have not been out of your home, you should not say that your mother's soup is the best in the world. In other words, you cannot stand in your bedroom and just declare yourself successful. And so, the space in which you are speaking from has a lot to do with, how you also determine your success. So success is not just in isolation. It has to be put in a context to be able to speak to success. And a critical part of that context, of course, is God, and then other things around you. Well, there's a lot of scriptural, background in terms of success. And one of the key ones that we all know is Joshua chapter 1, verse 8, which talks about, meditating on the scriptures, speaking the scriptures, and obeying the scriptures is what will give us spiritual success, is what will give us holistic success. And of course, we shouldn't sidetrack this verse because this verse is very holistic. It's like the book of Matthew teaching us to seek first the kingdom of God and all other things will be added to us. And here in the scriptures has everything. The Bible has everything. It has science in it. The Bible has wisdom and principles in it. The Bible has healthcare in it. Medical doctors will draw from it. Lawyers can pick all their legal principles from the Bible. And the Bible provides us with spiritual knowledge and strength. And so success must be holistic. By the way, I read years ago, and I'm sure, and I speak it as well, that if you don't like maths, you cannot be successful. If you don't like maths, you cannot have financial success. Can I get some debate around that? If you don't like mathematics, you cannot be successful. Look, the Bible has a whole book on numbers, the book of numbers. You go to that book and say, and this number of people and that number of people, and this, that. God is teaching us numbers. You must not be a math expert, but you must embrace it. In other words, when he's talking about meditating on the scriptures, he's looking at all the principles of the kingdom of God. The kingdom of God has its principles situated in the scriptures. And if we're going to meditate on it, we're going to speak it to ourselves, and we're going to obey the scriptures, then we're going to see holistic success in our lives. Let's carry on. And so now I'm going to be very brief because of time. We're going to touch on 7 essential elements. No, sorry, I should have changed that part of 7. No, it's 7 essential elements of successful leadership. 7 essential elements of successful leadership. So if you're ready, can you type ready in the chat room so I know you're ready? If you're ready. How many people are ready? Of successful leadership. Good. All right, so let's touch on the 7 essential elements of successful leadership. It's pretty simple. But simple does not mean easy. Let's go to it. It's here. The 7 essential elements of successful leadership. I think this is the meat of our conversation today. We're talking about successful leadership. These are the 7 essential elements of successful leadership. It comes from the most comprehensive definition of success by Dr. Miles Monroe. Number 1, successful leadership is based on purpose. I'm going to start from the bottom all the way up. Successful leadership, if we are saying that your leadership is successful, it first comes out of your purpose. Do you know your purpose? I once hired an accountant who spent most of his time doing project work because that was where his passion is. Is that accountant a successful accountant or not? Can you say that in the chat room? A great accountant I hired who spent most of his time doing project work and very little time doing the accounts. What do you think? Is he a successful? No, he's not. Obviously not. And so success starts by first knowing your purpose. You must, as successful Christian leaders, it starts with discovering our purpose. Discovering our purpose very young in life. You look at some of the most successful people in the world discovering their purpose when they were very young. Our Lord Jesus Christ himself, as a little boy by the age of 12, he already knew his purpose. He must be in his Father's house. Knowing your purpose and knowing your purpose early is the first element of successful leadership. The first element is successful. Well, he is a successful project manager, but obviously I didn't hire him to be a manager. He's not successful as far as I'm concerned. He got out of his way. I needed you to clean the room. You ended up going to fetch water. The room is messy. You didn't do the job. At the end of the day, success is determined by the person who gave you the assignment. If there is no God, then we can determine our own success. But if there is a God who sent us into the world, who in Jeremiah chapter 1, he says, before you were formed in your mother's womb, I knew you and I ordained you to be a prophet. If there is a God who knew us, called us, and sent us on an assignment, and then if we're here, we do other things, we have not achieved that purpose. He is the one going to judge it. And so he's a successful project manager based on himself. But based on me hiring him, he's not a successful person. Okay. All right, let's carry on. I'm not going to promote him. I'm not going to give him extra money. I'm going to fire him. All right. So success. But the purpose is not just purpose. There's a lot of things in purpose. Okay. When we talk about purpose, it is out of the purpose that you develop a plan, a strategic plan. It is out of the plan that you set goals. It is out of the goals that you set monitoring mechanisms. And so within that purpose includes a strategic planning. Once you discover your purpose, strategic planning, and all of that. The question is, what is your purpose in life? Number two, the second essential element for successful leadership is conviction. It's conviction about your purpose, conviction about what you are trying to do, conviction about your institution, conviction about your project. To be a successful Christian leader, you need conviction. You need to have a firm, unshakable belief in whatever project, whatever assignment is in front of you. The third one is vision. It's a clear picture of the future that you want to achieve. Vision. And I think we probably have had a lot of time talking about vision on this Christian leadership course. The third one is passion. Passion is the inner drive to achieve whatever is inside of you. Do you have passion? Do you have passion for what you're doing? I think I have passion for what I do. If I didn't have to sleep and if I didn't have to eat, I'm sure I can spend all my life doing it and I'm not going to be bored. The next one is influence. Influence is influence. And that is where Dr. Maxwell spends a lot of his time that leadership is influence. Leadership is influence. It's influence because influence is where the action comes. So you can have the purpose, you can have the conviction, you can have the vision, you can have the passion, but the action is in the influence. That is why Dr. John Maxwell keeps saying leadership is influence, because it's influence that you begin to execute the vision, influencing others, influencing situations, influencing the world through others, directly through the media, through all kinds of systems. Leadership is about influence. It's not about locking up yourself in the bedroom and just achieving things out of a space. It's about the capacity to influence, to move that vision that you are carrying It's a vision from God in your heart, a vision for a project, a vision for an organization. It is the capacity to begin to move things so that the vision begins to be formed and be created. A vision does not just sit in an idea. It's not just in your dream, but a vision comes out through influence. It is through influence that a vision becomes seen. A building is built. An institution is built. A product is manufactured through influence that these things begin to happen. But here is the kind of influence in this successful leadership. Influence must not be coercion, because you can use a gun to influence and get things to happen. It's not a kind of, coercion, but influence in this context is by inspiration. And so true leadership influences the world through inspiration. Please, are you with me? Please, are you with me? If you're with me, type inspiration. Type inspiration. I'm trying to wrap up. If you're with me, type inspiration. Inspiration, inspiration, inspiration. So successful leadership is driven by inspiration. Your influence, your influence is through what? Inspiration. In other words, you are influenced not by force, but by inspiration. You got to inspire people to the vision. You got to inspire people for that vision to come to happen. That is the mark of successful leadership. That is what you see, for instance, when we get to things like transformational leadership. Transformational leaders are inspirational leaders. They sell the vision to you. They inspire you so that you get to follow and run with that vision. Inspiration. And here is the bottom line of successful leadership. Please type, what is the first element of successful leadership? Please type. We're doing an exam, a quick quiz. When we're in the university, we're doing quizzes. What is number one? What is the first element of successful leadership? I'm waiting for you so that we can move to Q&A quick. What is the first element? Please put in the chat room very quick. I'm watching that. Purpose. Thank you. What is the second element of successful leadership? The second element to successful leadership. What is the second element? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Conviction, conviction, conviction. And the conviction comes if that vision is from God. If that vision is truly from you, you were born to do it, then it's conviction cannot be stolen. If you go and copy somebody's purpose, you won't have conviction. You'll get tired. What is the third element for successful leadership? The third element, please, respectfully, what's the third element? Vision. 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 The book of Habakkuk chapter 2 tells us the vision must be written down so that it can make you run. The clarity of where you are taking the people. The vision must be abundantly available. And in leadership, we have something called shared vision. You got to be able to craft a vision where people can buy into that vision. Without that, you're on your own. You have to achieve it alone, but you can never achieve something significant alone. Thank you very much. What is the fourth element? Please write the number before you type the word. The fourth, right? Number 4, then you add it to it. Number 4 is what? What is the fourth element to successful leadership? Passion, 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 passion. Please, respectfully, don't let anybody discourage you from your passion. And when you are starting it, people will be laughing at you. When you are moving the vision, people will be laughing at you. But I'm telling you, with number 4, passion, passion. Passion will keep you awake. Passion will get you going even when you are tired. Passion. Number 5, what is the faith element? Number 5, yes, influence. Influence. Influence is where the game is happening. Influence. Successful leadership happens at influence. Purpose is the foundation. It's inside the ground. When you look at the building, like what I'm sitting, the foundation is hidden. I can't see it. That is where the purpose is. Conviction is in the foundation and it's beginning to show. The vision is coming out. The passion is coming out. Influence is where the action is. You have to now start to influence people. You now have to start influence situations. You now have to start influencing technology, influencing even social, whatever. That is where the action is. That is why John Maxwell say leadership is influence. What is number 6, please? Number 6. Number 6. CLA, you guys are powerful. You guys are powerful, changing the world. Inspiration. Inspiration is a caution. It's a caution. It says, please let your influence be inspirational. In other words, leaders, please don't go back to where you are and just be backing orders at the people, unless you are in a military camp. Please don't go back to where you are and start backing out orders. If you want to be a successful leader, it is not about backing out others. Hey, why did you do this? Where are you? Shut up, man. You stand here. No. Leadership is not about backing out orders. It's about inspiration. Inspire them. Let them see you doing it. Let them see you taking the action. If you want people to do the right things, live right, you have to start it. If you want them to build, go and build with them. If you want them to be clean, clean with them. Inspiration, that you must be the inspiration. They got to be looking at you. That you are the mirror, you are the picture, you are the one they got to be looking at so that they can also catch the inspiration from you. It's not about backing out others. But finally, successful leadership. Please type successful leadership. Let me see the chat. I love the chat room. Please type successful leadership. I'm trying to end in the next 5 minutes. Finally, capacity. Leadership, successful leadership. The element of success is capacity. Capacity is your size. I always use my bottle. This bottle has capacity. If I want to carry a lot, I must change my capacity. If I want a bucket of water and my capacity is this bottle, what capacity am I going to carry? I want a bucket of water, but my capacity is this bottle. I pour the bucket of water, all the bucket into this bottle. What is going to happen? I am only going to carry my capacity. Leadership is capacity. Successful leadership is based on capacity. That is why if you are in the CLA, you are at the right place. That is why if you want to be a successful leader, when you hear the word leadership, you must be there. That is why if you want to be a successful leader, you must find every book about leadership. That is why if you want to be a successful leader, you must spend time learning, being mentored, being at leadership training institutes, because you got to expand your capacity. Leadership is about capacity. You want to achieve your leadership goals, you got to be in spaces where the leaders are. Monkeys play by sizes. Leadership is about capacity. Successful leadership, please, if your capacity is where is my cup? If your capacity is this little cup, you are going nowhere. You are going nowhere. That's all you will carry. How can you have the capacity of my bottle, but you want to carry the capacity of an articulator truck? How can you be capacity bottle, but your mission is the success of a big tank? Your vision, your mission, where you are going, it is the size of a big river, and meanwhile your capacity is in a cup. Please, your successful leadership isn't going to happen. Successful leadership happens when you expand your capacity. How do you do that? Mentoring, coaching. Every leadership place, find yourself. When somebody is talking leadership, when they start I am there, I'm listening. Why? Because I know that if I build my leadership capacity, it's just a matter of time. whatever successful leadership I want to see in the world. I don't know about you. My marketplace is global Africa, Africa plus the diaspora, Africa plus the US, the Caribbean, Latin America. Brazil has the highest number of Africans outside the continent of Africa. So looking at all those spaces, as long as those places are my playing field and my marketplace, capacity is what I require, expanding my capacity. All right. In conclusion, let me just read the insurance for you. Let me just read the insurance for you, and then I'll take the questions. Insurance policies for successful leadership. The first one is integrity. Integrity is our insurance policy. I love the conversations around integrity when we started. Integrity is a catalyst and an insurance policy for leadership. And so these 7 are the elements for successful leadership. But with all of the success, you have to ensure your success. Excuse me to say, with all respect, you are very foolish, or I am very foolish, if I buy an expensive car and I don't put insurance on it. It is the mark of foolishness. In other words, if I have success and I don't ensure the success, I'm very foolish. Number one, to catalyze and ensure your success requires integrity. There are 3 kinds of integrity. Let me show you the 3 kinds of integrity very quickly. There are 3 kinds of integrity very quick. There is internal integrity. Internal integrity is doing the right thing when nobody is looking at you. There is external integrity. External integrity is doing what you say you will do. The image of integrity requires a lot of wisdom. It is crafting an image of integrity around you. It's not always about right and wrong, but it is projecting a positive image of integrity around you. Integrity is one of the catalyst and insurance policies of successful leadership. Communication skills is a catalyst and insurance policy for successful leadership. Emotional intelligence is a catalyst and an insurance policy for successful leadership. Emotional intelligence. Otherwise, you're going to lose it. You are successful, but you start talking anyway, anyhow. Your emotions are out of control. Wisdom is a catalyst, an insurance policy. Faith is a catalyst, an insurance policy. The Bible reminds us that the shield of faith, in other words, faith is an insurance policy. It's a protector of successful leadership. The faith is a catalyst. It accelerates your leadership and it also protects you. Humility is the final that I would say. Humility is a catalyst and an insurance policy for successful leadership. On that note, I think being beyond my time right now. So I want to thank you. I love you all. I love you too much. I love you with all my heart. Thank you for having me today, and God bless you.